All right, positive energy all the time. Rep your city, rep your city. I am representing Chi-Town. Shout out to everybody on Twitch, all my people on Kick, YouTube, and Facebook. We got Richmond in the building. We got Orlando in the building. We got LA in the building. We got Greensboro. We got Buffalo in the house. Come on in, come on in. Come on in. Here we go again. Some of the biggest conversations right now is conversations about these different immigrants and all of that. We got Panama City in the building. We got Florence in the building. We got New York in the building. And I'm talking about this situation that's going on with the Somalis in Minneapolis and the Haitians and how Donald Trump is coming in to run everybody out. We got Tampa, Florida in the building. We got Philadelphia in the building. Come on in, rep your city, rep your city. Now, I'm not promoting hate. So I don't hate Somalians and I don't hate Haitians. So I'm not pushing hate. I'm not promoting hate. Okay? I'm not promoting hate. I'm not saying hate the brothers and the sisters. We got Philadelphia in the building. I'm just saying we got our own fight. We cannot depend on anybody. And it's totally unfair to expect to depend on us when we can't depend on nobody. And so we cannot be giving anybody any support anymore. Those days are over. We're not going to support the Haitians. We're not going to support the Somalians. We're not going to support any of the Africans. We don't hate you. Nobody from the Caribbean. We just are not going to keep supporting people that do not support us. That's over with. We're also not going to support people that's going to come in and take jobs and opportunity for us and do it for less money and undercut us and undermine us. We're not going to support people that's trolling us on social media in our territory. We're not doing that either. Do not come over here from Africa or nowhere trolling us on our territory. Do not do it. Don't do it. Treat us on social media the same way you treat us in Chicago, Illinois. Why I say, no, they don't play with us in Iraq. Nobody plays with us in Iraq. Nobody plays with foundational Black Americans in Chicago. That's why we the boss of FBA. We the head. You don't get no more FBA than Chicago. Nobody don't play with us here. There's a fact. And when I say nobody, I mean everybody. Europeans too. They do not play with us here. They don't. That's why I love Chicago. They don't got to deal with no type of funny style, nothing. Don't have to deal with it. When I visit other places, oh my God, what you all have to go through. Whoa. Like Miami, oh God. Foundation of Black Americans, you ain't nothing in Miami. Now they don't play with y'all in Atlanta. I got to give Atlanta some props. They don't play with you. L.A. Y'all got the Mexicans calling y'all the N-word in L.A. Y'all got the Mexicans calling y'all the N-word. Shout out to the Queen Alexis. Much love. Now, I don't do hate because I got comrades from everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So I got comrades. So I don't do hate. Tell Anthony I said I see him doing big things. Yeah, tell Anthony I see him doing big things. Yeah, Atlanta don't have those type of problems. I like Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? California, I don't know what they're doing in Cali. You know what I'm saying? We finna ban the N-word. I gotta do that. I gotta do that live. We gotta ban the N-word. The N-word gotta go. Yeah, the N-word gotta go. We gotta ban it. We ain't gonna be able to use it no more ourselves. That might be my next live. We gotta ban the N-word. The N-word, it gotta go. It gotta go. Big Pharaoh gonna have to call it out. We gotta ban the N-word. Because other people think they can use it, but they don't use no word for theyself. But because we use it, they think they can use it. But they don't use them words about theyself, so then we can't use it. So yeah, we got to ban the N-word. I haven't been comfortable using it because other people want to use it. Yeah, tell Big Ann I said, what's up? You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to have to DM you because, I got to send them something. My little nieces and nephews and them. I got to send them something. Alexis, I seen you too looking thicker than a Snicker and cute. I said, oh, Alexis can get it. I ain't know you were that fine. I seen you with some of your relatives and stuff, and I was all thirsty. I said, bro, you bogus. This your sister. You can't be looking at her like that. I said, is that Alexis? I want to drive a Lexus. I need to get me a Lexus. Oh, my God. You fine as hell. Girl, stop. I didn't know you was that fine, Alexis. I always just seen your face. Yeesh. I said, oh, my God. Lights, camera, action. So everybody come on in. We're going to do our thing. Them kids going to be at home. Pharaoh, don't be looking at our mama. I ain't looking at y'all mama like that, okay? I'm just saying she cute. Ain't nothing wrong with that. These videos, I got mixed emotion with these videos saying I don't stand up for the Haitians and the Somalis. Me being pro super black all those years. This just feels out of character. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like, I've been standing up for black people globally so long, and to see none of that coming back to foundational Black Americans is very disheartening. It's very disheartening. What clicked? Nothing clicked. The internet, Trench. We didn't have the internet, so we couldn't see the haters. That's all. The internet is showing us things we don't see in real life. I don't see all that hate in Chicago, but the internet, TikTok and all that, Instagram is revealing all the hate. And you go, dang, they hate like that? So nobody knew they was hating like that. The internet is revealing everything. I said, oh, dang. Oh, they don't even like us. I mean, they on internet. Boy, listen, they in Africa talking about how much they don't like us, like doing whole videos about not liking Black Americans. Whole videos. I'm like, what? They doing videos in Africa disrespecting them. You know what I'm saying? You say the wrong people get a voice. Now what's going on, bro, is that a lot of people ain't putting their voice on the internet. You got to make your voice be heard. If you be quiet and they be talking, then they gonna suck all the air out the room. All y'all that's got opinions and stuff, why they don't like us? Because they jealous. Jealousy. Imagine being in the Caribbean and Africa, and the whole time all you hear is Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Steph Curry. All you keep hearing is the Denzel Washingtons, all these Jay-Z, 50 Cent. That's all you keep hearing is all these great Black Americans. You become a hater. We're the dominant Black people in the world. We're the dominant ones. That's why they trying to push Afrobeat. They trying to get a dominant position in the music. The only one able to get a dominant position was Bob Marley. No other Blacks, nobody listen to Burna Boy but some Nigerians and stuff. Nobody listen to that. They bang our music. We don't bang. I don't play Afro beats. I can't stand Afro beats. It don't sound good to me. It just don't. It don't got the vibe. You know what I'm saying? It don't have the vibe. To me, it don't sound good. Y'all like Afro beats? Is there any foundation of Black America? I don't like Afro beat. I like the old reggae. I don't like the new reggae. I don't like the new reggae. I remember my ex, she started listening to the reggae, and I was always dissing it. I probably shouldn't have did that, but I don't like Chronics and all them. They sound soft. Or Jamaicans ain't making no good reggae no more. That reggae today is trash. Boy, this reggae is the worst reggae. They should take reg off of it, just call it gay. No reg. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Afro beats sound horrible. I can't get into it. Anybody like Afro beats? I don't like it. I don't like Afro beats. It don't got this. It don't sound. What I'm supposed to do to that? It don't got that sound. It don't have the sound. It ain't on the 1. I think it's on the 3 or something. I don't know, but I don't like it. It don't sound good. That ain't never going to take off with Foundation Black America. They're going to never get in Afro beats. The new reggae ain't no good because the new reggae artists, they remaking, playing the same old beats all over and over again. See, the original reggae had original beats. The new reggae is taking the old beats and trying to remix the old beats. You know what I'm saying? The new reggae artists, they don't have no good musicianship. Each reggae artist had their own sound. These new reggae artists don't have a sound. If you listen to old reggae, Burning Spear sound like Burning Spear. Israel Vibration sound like Israel Vibration. Nobody sound like Israel Vibration. Nobody sound like Burning Spear. Nobody sound like Bob Marley. Nobody sound like Black Uhuru. Nobody sound like Steel Pulse. Nobody sound like Gregory Isaacs. Nobody sound like Dennis Brown. Everybody had an original sound. Now they don't got a sound. The new reggae don't got a sound. Now R&B is trash now too because R&B can't go nowhere unless men and women dance together. And this new generation of Black Americans, I don't know, the dudes is a little weird. They don't mess with the ladies like that no more. They just go to the club and be standing around with bottles. They don't dance with the ladies no more. Why Black American men don't dance with ladies no more? What's up with that? We ain't bringing nothing to life right now. FBA music is trash too. Listen, I keep it a billion. FBA music is, what the hell is that stuff? FBA music ain't no good either no more. Who got good music? Nobody. Who? Who's the big FBA stars? Nobody. They got some pretty good rappers though. I listen to a couple of the rappers. A couple of the rappers is fire, I ain't gonna lie. But the R&B and stuff is horrible. Who's the biggest R&B artist now in America? I don't know. They don't got none, do they? The record labels didn't want to destroy our sound. We don't got music in the schools no more. You don't know how to play no music. How you gonna have good music with no music in the schools? You don't take music classes. How you gonna have good music? Nobody got a trumpet. Nobody got a clarinet. Nobody got a saxophone. Nobody got a flute. How you gonna have good music? When I was growing up, you seen kids coming from school with instruments. How you gonna have good music when nobody plays music? Chris Brown? Chris Brown ain't had a hit. Chris Brown ain't been hot since Chris was Brown. Chris Brown ain't hot no more. He's singing old songs. I played trumpet in school. Then I played bass. We played instruments. Nobody don't play no instruments. Chris Brown ain't hot no more. Chris Brown doing old songs. These witches ain't loyal. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go see Chris Brown, but I'm going to see the old songs. He ain't got no good new song. What's his good new song? None. Rihanna ain't doing nothing. Beyonce ain't doing nothing. Nothing that ain't hurt. You don't got no more stylistics, Isley Brothers, Ohio players. You ain't got that caliber no more. But these immigrants, they didn't got on my last nerve. I can't really rock. I can't really rock with these black immigrants. They bogus. You know what I'm saying? You like Summer Walker? Her music sound like it's on a Walker. It's at the old folks' home. Like, we need a new one, man. She need to. Where is Winter Runner? You know what I'm saying? Because Summer Walker need to walk. Who was that? But I got toxic masculinity, so I can't listen to that stuff. I can't listen to Summer Walker, I got toxic masculinity. I gotta hear some aggressive male sexual music, Use a bad missus and them skin tight britches. I gotta hear that. I gotta hear something. I got to hear about some booty shaking or something. If you ain't talking about no fine women, I can't do it. I can't do it. This music ain't toxic and masculine enough. I need to hear some toxic masculinity. There's new music, I don't know. There's new music. Yeah, but shoot, I don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I listen to a few ladies, Shaka Khan stuff, but I'm got toxic masculinity, you know what I'm saying? I need to hear some men. Hello, it's me. I thought about it for a long. I need to talk about some men, you know what I'm saying? Some men trying to get up on something. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear some men trying to push up on the queen. You know what I'm saying? I need to hear some men trying to push up on the queen. You know what I'm saying? I like listening to the queens too, but black music was banging because the men was popping. The Four Tops, the OJs, the Temptations, James Brown, trying to push up on something. Basically, they don't do that no more. But I feel a little guilty because I gotta separate myself from the black immigrants. The black immigrants, they whack now. You know what I mean? They whack. You see, the problem with black immigrants is they own our turf. They coming on our turf and they being disrespectful. They being disrespectful all on social media, and then they coming on our turf. They don't respect our turf. They trying to come on our territory and be disrespectful. You can't come in our house and be disrespectful. You can't come in our house and not say hi. You can't just come here, stay off to yourself, create your own little black immigrant community, and then when the Europeans roll on you, turn black and want my help. I don't even know you. I don't even know no Haitians. I don't even know no Somalis. I don't even know no Ethiopians or none of them like that. All the Africans I know was from older. I don't know no new Nigerians and them people. They disrespectful. They come on our turf. They try to undermine us on our own turf. So at first we stopped messing with them, but they got on social media, they keep on disrespecting. So now we going to campaign to get them out of here. We want them gone. We want them deported. Get them out. Bye. Because you ain't helping and you hurting. You taking food out of our mouth. You disrespectful. And ain't nothing where you came from, so we can't get nothing where you from. That's why you came over here. So it's like y'all got to get the hell out of here. And it's crazy they get a wake-up call because now Trump want to throw them all out. It take that for them to understand what we've been going through. You know, we tried to tell them, bro, you don't know what it's like being black in America. No, you just lazy, this and that. All right? Hold that thought. The only reason that the penitentiary system is not full of black immigrants is because they throwing them out. If it wasn't for them throwing them out, they would lock them all up. And all this stuff they saying about black crime and stuff, they would starve them out. They would deny them jobs like they've been doing us. They would turn the crimes and they would lock them up. Imagine how many Somalians they could lock up right now up in Minnesota. They could lock up probably thousands of them right now for fraud and all type of stuff. Instead, they're going to deport them. So when black immigrants talk about us being in prison and stuff like that, Nigerians will be under the prison as many scams as they doing and as much H as they selling. Nigerians is selling mad H. You understand? And so now they're going to get deported. They're not going to even lock you up. They don't even want you in the jails over here. They want you out of here. And the Hispanics too. They're going to stop locking up Hispanics. They're going to start deporting them too. Because they don't want to just be housing you up in no jails feeding you. They want you out of here. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? And so we're not going to be standing up for the Haitians and Somalis that's finna be deported by the hundreds of thousands, by the thousands between now and April. Between now and April, they're going to be getting deported like never before. Trust me. And guess who they're going to be begging to? Us. How you never talk to us until you get deported? Just think about that. Look, it seems as though within the African diaspora, we can talk gender wars, colorists, etc. But we can't talk about the xenophobia, especially when it comes from continental Africa. It's like y'all can't just admit it. If we're black, why call us a kata? They call you a kata because they own the internet. They own the internet. And the internet has exposed the hate. Because they can't just walk up to you in Chicago. They can't call me a kata here. See what I'm saying? It'll be smoke. So they scary. Right? They can't say this stuff to our face. So they get on the internet with the cowardly disrespect. But what they don't understand is they represent more blacks and they represent changing the ratio of whites, making whites not as dominant. So the dominant white society is saying all these blacks coming over here is going to make us the underclass. We cool with the black Americans. There's 50 million of them, cool. Out of 360 million, 50, that ain't no big deal. But they're not going to let these other blacks come over here and tip the scale and make whites the minority, especially when you ain't no American. You're not only making whites closer to being a minority, you messing up the fabric of the country. Look it up there in Minnesota. They want to bring all that Sharia law and marry 8, 9 women. They want to come and try to make this some Islamic state. No, bro, you got to go and take that back where you came from. You can't take your religion and make your religion political. Over here, it's a separation of church and state. In Africa and East Africa, there's no separation of church and state. There's no separation of church and state in Islamic countries. The state is Islamic and got all kind of laws that got nothing to do with just living in the country. Nobody gonna let you come over here with Sharia law and all that. It's said in 2045, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Don Anderson, how they gonna be the minority when they run the country and they can determine how many babies you have? I mean, no, they're not gonna be the minority. It's not gonna happen. Because they got the power to stop whatever type of growth you got going on. They're not going to be the minority. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. They'll deport a bunch of Hispanics and a bunch of Asians before they let that happen. They'll throw you out before they let that happen. They're not just called a dominant society for nothing. They dominate. They're not going to let that happen. Anybody believe they're going to let that happen, don't understand who you're playing with. Yeah, they used to call us Yankees from the Caribbean, but they threw them all out. That's the perfect example. He said they call us, look, I'm glad you said that. He said they call us Yankees. Let me tell you something. In the mid-70s through the 80s, all these Caribbeans came up here, right? By the time you got to 98, they was gone. Who old enough to know what I'm talking about? Tell them. Is it as many Jamaicans up here now as it used to be? Hell no. They kicked them out. Every little Jamaican that was selling herb and stuff, they arrested them and deported them. Arrest them, deport them. Arrest them, deport them. Stop letting them come in. It ain't no big Caribbean community here no more. Ask somebody in Chicago. The Jamaican community here now is small. That's a fact. Now, I don't know about up in Canada, but I know in America, they shut them down. There ain't all these Jamaicans running around Chicago like it used to be. They shut that down. Show me a Jamaican club that's popping. They ain't got nothing popping. All their clubs don't be nothing in there but 13 people, 40 people, 40 people, 45, that's it. You ain't seeing no reggae. Show me a reggae tour. Ain't one. If the Whalers want to go to tour, they got to go in the white communities. They got to go in Colorado, do a show, Northern California, and Europe. They ain't coming to Chicago. They ain't doing no tour nowhere else because there ain't nobody want to see them. Ain't nobody want to see the reggae no more. Reggae is dead in the United States. They in Canada, UK, but we talking about the United States. Ain't none of that here. They ran them all out by 2000. They had ran them out. A lot of my friends got deported. Man, they deported them. You break any law, deport. The Jamaican posse and all that, they deported all of them. Got them out of here. Jamaicans ain't big like they used to be. Jamaicans was big in the 80s. Not no more. They shut that down. The same way they finna do these Africans. Watch. Remember I said, watch 10 years. Ain't gonna be no Africans hardly nowhere. They're gonna run all these Africans out of here. Ain't gonna be no African nowhere. Watch. Ain't gonna be no Africans over here like that. They finna run them out of here. They finna kick them out of all them jobs. They DEI. They DEI. They through. They finished. All of the black immigrants that didn't link in with us and didn't breed with us, all gonna be gone. They're gonna get them Ethiopians in Washington, D.C. You see how Washington, D.C. got that large Ethiopian population? Watch what happens. When Trump is out of office, will the foreigners return? No. Nope. Trump is doing what white America want him to do. Y'all just think it's Trump. It's not Trump. It ain't Trump. Trump is doing what his people want him to do. Trust me. Them white Democrats, they talk that, but guess what? How they vote. You understand? They out of here. They ain't gonna hire them, so bring them up here for what? They're not gonna hire them. When you start getting like to the 90s, the Africans start pushing them out the way. The Africans pushed the Caribbeans out the way. The Ghanaians and Nigerians and Ethiopians and them came and pushed everybody out the way. They finna get them the hell out of here. Now the Somalians. But see, the Somalis messed up because they brought their religion with them. They finished. They bought that for the religion fanaticism with them. They've done. They considered a threat to an American way of life. They gone. Yeah, the Somalis is gone. I don't know what's wrong with them. They're not smart. To take that money up there in Minnesota and Minneapolis and send that money to El Shabaab, to terrorists, oh, they gone. They gone. That's it. That's you do not want to be associated with terrorism. You're gone. Now they have associated, they're going to associate East Africans with terrorism. They gone. They gone. It's not that America don't like Islam. Islam won't just be a religion. Islam be trying to be political. See what I'm saying? America got a separation of church and state. Christianity respects the separation of church and state. Islam does it. Islam try to make their religious ideology law. It's too fanatical. The principle of Islam is you don't follow Islam, the sword for you. I remember young Rasta, we had a little crew, some comedic, I was a comedic Rasta, a couple of other brothers were just straight comedic. And then we had a brother that was a Hebrew Israelite Rasta. And then we had a brother who was an Orthodox Muslim. And he one time said, in the last days, he said eventually, if you don't bow to Islam, it's going to be the sword for you. So I said, well, I should whoop you right now then. You talk about it's going to be the sword for me? So I was like, I should whoop you right now. The other brothers got mad because I was talking about punching the brother out. But he talked about the sword for me if I don't follow his religion. Fanatical nutism. Like, bro, the sword just because we don't want to believe what you believe in? What? That's what he said. And I really never liked him that much after that. Because I know that was in his psyche. That he think he had the right to unalive us if we don't follow his religion. Your religion should be your personal belief. You're not supposed to force that on other people. You're not supposed to force Christianity or Islam or Buddhism or nothing, no Judaism on nobody. And then when we force you to sit down, now you're going to be crying like a baby because everybody could force somebody. We could force you to close all your mouths then. That's why the Nation of Islam fell under Farrakhan. Once they start dilly-dallying with fanatical Islam, they had to go. They was no longer representing their Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? You can't be threatening people with your religion. And them East Africans is big with that in them Islamic countries. They definitely gonna get chased out here. All on the speaker, bro. We don't want to hear all that. Go in your house with that or go in your mosque with that. Okay, you gotta get out of here. Get them out of here. Because fanatical Islam got to be the worst religion. It's too intrusive. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be the worst. Fanatical Islam got to be the worst ever. You don't see Buddhists doing that. You don't see Christians doing that. You don't see people that practice Judaism. The only ones that's out here tripping like that is the fanatical Muslims. They all in Nigeria. Look at all them children just got kidnapped by them fanatics in Nigeria. They're going to make somebody follow their religion. How that going to work? You know what I'm saying? So the people from Somalia, when they made that mistake, they messed up. Now the problem with the Haitians, the same thing. The Haitians be doing all that black magic with chicken heads and all of this. And since they've been down in Florida, it's been birds all chopped up and stuff everywhere. So everybody want to get rid of them because they into the voodoo. And they be creeping everybody out with the voodoo, the Haitians. So now the Haitians got the same type of reputation with the voodoo and the black magic. You know what I'm saying? They got the same reputation. You know what I'm saying? with all that Santeria and all that. You know what I'm saying? They got to go. Too much. And who's going to deal with that? So that's why they got to go. You know, they got to go. Yeah, they got to go. That's why they got to go. Too fanatical. Got to go. Look, this down there in Florida at Gandy Beach. Y'all know about Gandy Beach? Look, decapitated chickens, goats found on Gandy Beach. Investigation logs. You know what I'm saying? So I can't even show all of this because they say photos taking money appear to show the remains of at least 20 chickens and one goat. So they down there, you know, and this has been happening for years down there. Animals washing up and stuff like that because they really into that down there. You know what I'm saying? That's why Haiti is a hellhole right now. You know what I'm saying? Haiti messed up. So you got all these people, you want to get on social media, you want to call us Akata. Akata is a word used to describe Black Americans. Akata can also be used to describe Africans who have lived in America so long that they have adopted the African American culture. So now they want to call us Akata, da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And then when the Europeans get on their bumper, now all of a sudden, now they Black. Somalians ain't never admitted they Black. Never. Now they Black. Now that they want to cuff baby girl and get her out of here. You understand? Now she a Black woman. They cannot stand that a refugee, a Black woman. Girl, you ain't no Black woman. She ain't never been no Black woman. They've always stood on the position that they not Black. You know what I'm saying? Here we go with the phony stuff. Somalis say they are not Black. You understand? It's a wrap. You want to show the brothers and sisters love, but you know, we can't stand with you. No, foundational Black Americans are not standing up for Somalis and Haitians. We just not going to do it. You know what I'm saying? See, the Mexicans, the Hispanics, a lot of them, they came in with some respect. I at least got to give it to the Hispanics. They came in with a lot of respect. The Puerto Ricans, like that, the Mexicans, they came in and did their thing, but they wasn't aggressive against the system. You know what I'm saying? They was just Mexican Americans. And they didn't go too far. You understand? Now in LA, they tripping with the N-word and all that. They got to get some control. But the main reason is they let too many in at one time. So a lot of Mexican Americans don't like illegal Mexicans because illegal Mexicans is messing it up for legal Hispanics. Legal Hispanics have already acclimated to the American way of life. They Mexican Americans. and they letting too many Hispanics in, and the Mexican Americans that been here, they don't like it. Because like you got to come in the same way we've been here. You coming in trying to change our way of life, because you got to understand, Hispanics came up here for this way of life. They left that way of life that came for this way of life. They don't want you to bring the way of life they left up here. If I left Central America to come up here, I'm coming up here for this lifestyle. I don't want you to come and bring the lifestyle that my granddaddy and mama and them left up here. That's why we left. So like my Mexican homies and my Hispanic friends, and they can't stand illegals because they saying they messing up their way of life. They're like, y'all got to come up here and act the same way we've been acting. So there's a beef between the Hispanics that been here and the ones that just been running across the border. They like, y'all messing up our life. We came up here for this lifestyle. Y'all trying to change it to what we left. You see what I'm saying? So my Hispanic homies, they don't like that. They like, close the damn border and make them come across the same way I had to come across. They feel, I really need to get something in the live. Y'all think I'm lying. They like, Pharaoh, we went through the whole process to become citizens. It's not fair for others to just come up here and they ain't got to go through what we went through. Like they learned English, they went through the process, they got jobs, they had children, they got married, they went to the schools, and then they built a society right here in the country. I lived in LA and I lived up in Glendale. And Glendale's up by Pasadena. It was a Mexican neighborhood, right? They was cool as hell, for real. Them was some nice people. I'll tell you straight up. I lived in a Mexican, it was all Mexicans. Me and my queen and our 2 children, we rented an apartment behind a house. They had built an apartment to make some money. It was a white dude and his mother lived there. He was taking care of his mother, and we rented an apartment. I just got back from Hawaii. And them was the nicest people ever. Straight up. The Mexican Americans, they was cool. They was so nice. They was quiet. They was very quiet. And like if you come to Chicago and you go to the Mexican neighborhoods, they're very well respectful. You're not going to see no gang. You got to go in the alley to see gang writing. When you drive down these streets, you don't see no gangs in the Mexican neighborhoods in Chicago. I'm telling you, you're not going to see no gangs. You're not going to see no hanging out. If they're going to hang out, they go in the back, in the garage, in the alley. They do not put that negative stuff in their neighborhoods. I'm telling you, man, my compadres, they don't play that. They don't play that. Everybody in Little Village, which y'all tell them, go to Little Village. You're not going to see none of that. They do not write on their buildings. That's a no. Boy, go to a Mexican neighborhood in Chicago and write your gang on the building where the business at. You in trouble. If they find out who did that, you in serious trouble. Their neighborhoods is clean and quiet. They do not disturb their elders. That's a fact. They do not disturb the hardworking Mexicans. They don't do that. They keep that neighborhood respectful. That's a fact. They don't do that. They don't do that. And when I lived up in Glendale, man, listen, they was cool as hell. Quiet. You don't hear nothing. Quiet. It was like a Hispanic dude at a store. And that's why I would buy my, because, they got the best vegetables and fruit, period. Like the Mexican neighborhoods in California, places like that, they got the best produce. And I used to go down there and buy food. And one time I went down there and bought a bunch of food for my queen, because we had our 2 sons in that neighborhood. We was in that neighborhood and we had both of our sons. And one time I bought a bunch of food because I had just grabbed some money off the table and went and bought a bunch of food. And I might had $25 and it came out to like $29. So he said, $29. I told the Hispanic, I told the Mexican man, I said, okay, let me put this back. No, my friend. No, my friend. See what I'm saying? He said, no, my friend. And then the next time I came, I gave it to him. But he was like, my friend, anytime you could come get food and pay me later, you could get whatever you want, my friend. It's always my friend, my friend, my friend. My friend. Very nice people. Mexicans is cool. Mexicans are some cool people. Mexicans are cool. Chinese are cool. Koreans act funny, but Chinese is cool. Mexicans is cool. Puerto Ricans is cool. White Americans are cool. White Americans is cool. It's the people you just ran into some racists and you try to judge. Nah, white Americans ain't racist like that. It's just some that's racist. These people is cool up here in the United States. You go to on the road and you go to some sundown town, they don't really count. They're not normal. You know what I'm saying? But these new foreigners coming here, they not cool. They funny acting. They really are. Ethiopians act like they barely want to talk to you. I eat at Ethiopian restaurants all the time, and they funny acting. They'll be nice because you're eating there, but you could really tell they just being nice because you eating there. They really don't want to talk to you like that. They really don't. And Nigerians are horrible. They got to be the worst Africans in Africa. They real snobby and they just not cool. They don't like nobody unless you're a Nigerian. They real stuck up. You know what I'm saying? Nigerians don't do well with foundational Black Americans. We don't mix well. Now, we don't got no bunch of Somalians and stuff here, so I don't know. Eritreans ain't nothing. It was not too long ago, I was with a queen, and we was going to get some food somewhere, and we had got a cab. We had a nice hotel. We got a cab, and the Eritrean picked us up. And I'm trying to talk to him, and that man did not want to talk to me. I'm trying to be cordial. I'm trying to talk to him, and you could tell his vibe was like, don't really talk to me. Just get in this car and go where you're going and get out. His vibe was real messed up. And the queen was like, why he acted like that? I said, cuz he one of them stuck up East Africans. East Africans is messed up. The Ethiopians, the Eritreans, the Somalians, they nasty. The Nigerians, now the Ghanaians is cool. The Senegalese is cool. Those is cool. The Ghanaians is real cool. I think they the coolest in Africa. Facts. I don't know about when you go to Ghana, but I know over here in this country, the Ghanaians is really nice. But the Nigerians, deport all of them. Get them out of here. Get the Nigerians out of here. They not cool at all. None. They just not cool. Haitians ain't no good. Haitians is stuck up and messed up. Haitians will destroy your country because they bring Haiti here. They not cool. Get them out of here too. Haitians is messed up. They don't acclimate to American society. They bring Haiti here. Anybody come to your country that starts making your country be like their country, but their country wasn't good enough to stay, they got to go. If you running from Haiti, but then you come here and turn this to Haiti, how is that a good thing? Get out. Definitely get the Haitians out of here. Get them out. Yeah, get them out. Get them out of here. If you want to save your country, get them out of here. Get them Somalians out of here. You better get them Somalis out of here and them Haitians. I'm telling you. Or you look up, the country would be messed up. It'd be like a third world country. That's a fact. That's why you got to let so many people in. If you let a few Haitians in, then they got to adapt to the American lifestyle. This is why it's wrong when you have your border open. When you let too many people come, they ruin your society. So let's say I got a house and I want to help some Haitian youth. It's me and my queen and our 2 children. If I bring in one Haitian, they will adapt to how our family of 4 act. So they will get in line with how we act. If I bring in 4, 5 Haitians, they will bring their way into our home. Then it'll be a battle. So when you're dealing with immigration, you got to bring a few in at a time to make them acclimate to your way of living. You can't have a bunch of people run in here. They'll turn your country into theirs. Them people will turn Minnesota into East Africa. They sure will. You got to get them out of there. They'll turn Minnesota into Somalia, for sure. They're going to be real disrespectful, and they're going to bring their disrespectful way of life over here, and they're not going to acclimate to the way we live. They're going to think that they can push the way they live on us. Got to get them out of here. Much love. Y'all support the channel. Lazy Prodigy. So I'm not hating on them. I'm just simply talking about what we got to do in order to make sure that the country don't flip. If you bring in too many people at one time, they're going to uproot your way of life. And then the whole reason they came here is going to be no good because they're going to turn it into exactly what they was running from. They running from certain way of life and then bring that way of life with them. And then they could just run again. Yeah, then they want to speak Somalian just like they tell us we got to learn Spanish. Trump got to overturn that too. We should not have to learn no Spanish to talk to you in the United States. There should only be Spanish interpretation, places like hospitals and emergency situations. Other than that, you got to learn how to talk to me. You cannot come here from South and Central America and tell me I got to learn how to talk to you. No, I don't. You're in the United States. You got to learn English. So somebody tell Trump to stop making these jobs saying that you need to learn. That should be illegal. And anybody, any job that requires you to know Spanish, report them. Start reporting them. I don't got to learn no Spanish. Are you crazy? This is an English-speaking country. We went to school and took English all them years. And now you 30-some years old, you took English all that time, and now they want you to learn Spanish because some lady that came here from Mexico don't want to learn how to talk? They better be glad I'm not ICE, because as soon as you can't supposed to talk English, I'll deport you. If they don't learn English, deport them. Deport them. If you don't know English, get out. Report them to ourselves. Start a website that takes reports and then send them reports to the government. Yep. Because you need to learn how to, you come in, you need to learn how to talk to me. If you don't know how to talk to me, get out. If you go anywhere and they want you to speak English, call ICE on them. Call ICE on them. And start complaining. Start going on and start making videos about, I went to get a job here and they want me to speak English. And we want Trump and we want the government to go in there and fix that. And once it hits social media and everybody start complaining, the government will look into it and Trump will make it illegal. That's one thing about him. Make it a thing. Make it a thing. That's all. With social media, we could, as long as when we start going talk about it on TikTok and put a hashtag with it, hashtag learn English, it'll go crazy. Hashtag learn English and start complaining. Because should not have to learn how to speak Spanish when you came here. You need to learn how to speak English. How are you going to tell me in America I can't get the job if I don't know Spanish? And you go to all these jobs, they got all these Hispanics in there working that don't know no damn English, but the customers is Americans. Make that make some sense. What you come here for if you don't want to be an American and learn how to speak like an American? You know what I'm saying? Learn English. If you don't learn English, get out. They got these Hispanic truck drivers that can't read no English. And they having accidents left and right. Because they don't know what the signs say. How the hell you a truck driver and you can't read none of the signs? You can't read nothing, but you're a truck driver. Like, come on, man. But my children had to go to school. I got 6 children. All of them had to go to school, take English. All of them have to know how to speak well. All of them have to know English. But you can come up here and don't know no English and get a job before my children? Seriously? You can't speak English, get out. And if a job to say you got to learn English, report them. Report them to the Better Business Bureau. Report them to the United States government. Report them to ICE. Report them to anybody. They'll say, well, you send the reports to the wrong place. Well, create a place for me to send them. Because if Donald Trump had office, I'd send it all to his office. I swear to God. Learn how to speak English or get your ass out of here. How I'm going to go to Japan and don't learn no Japanese? And go tell them they got to learn how to talk to me. And I'm in Japan. And say they got to learn how to talk to me. You believe that? That's crazy as hell. If you don't want to learn English, what you come, You ever see these old Asian women and old Hispanic people can't speak no English and been there all them years? Much respect for the support. You know what I'm saying? Much respect for the support. I appreciate the support. I'm just standing on business. Man, these Ethiopians and Somalians need to take their ass back to Ethiopia and Somalia. That's all. That's all. Go back where you came from. If you don't want to come over here and have no respect, get out. Get out. And no, but the next between now, I'm going to be on their necks between now and June, because February they're going to start kicking them out. I'm going to be on these Haitians. I'm going to be on these Somalis. I'm going to be on all these illegal Hispanics. All these illegals. If you illegal, I don't care if you're from Africa, South Central America, I'm on your neck. I'm on your neck. Because what they're going to do is they're going to bring in white immigrants that can speak English. They're going to bring in South Afrikaners and stuff like that. That's what they're going to do. Because somebody say that they're going to outpopulate whites. No, they're not. They're going to kick them people in and they're going out and they're going to bring in whites. One of the biggest problems with a lot of Black American content creators, they don't want to understand that white people run the country, and you're not thinking from the point of view of people that run the country. You thinking make-believe. White Americans run this country, and they're going to do what's necessary to protect their way of life. This is just common sense. And if Black Americans want to get some power, they got to stop having abortions, get married, and have some babies. You cannot not have no babies. You're 36, 40 years old with no children and think you're going to have any type of say-so when you ain't increasing your race and your population in the country. Period. If you talking about not having no babies, you talking about being third class, fourth class citizens. You got to have babies. You got to respect marriage. You got to humble yourself, Black man and Black woman, and learn how to be in a relationship and get married and stay together and raise some children. If you're not doing that, and you talking all this extra Black stuff, you's a fraud. If you's a Black man talking black, and you ain't having no babies, you a fraud. Love these sisters, get with these queens, stay with them, stop cheating, stop spreading STDs, and raise a family. See your children off to college or trade school. See your grandchildren come up. Help your children with their children. That's what grandparents is for. And strengthen the race. Not all this new stuff. I don't got enough money to have no babies. How old are you, brother? I'm 36. I don't got no kids. Oh, okay. What? So you just having sex for fun, huh? You know, sex is reprocreation. It's made fun to ensure you reproduce. You understand? That's what it's made fun for. Mind you, children equal money. 15, 16 years, boom. That your child got a part-time job. They can buy some of their own food, some of their own clothes. Next thing you know, they're in trade school, they're in college. Now they making money. I bet ain't none of y'all poor. I bet y'all not. This is what we got to do. Have some babies. Bring black love back. Bring black love back. Ladies, humble yourself. Let the man be a man. Men, humble yourself. Let the lady be a lady. It's real simple. And stay together. Stop doing all that cheating and all that weirdo stuff. Stay together and build a family. You know, you get together, you have a family, you stay together, something happen, you break up. That woman don't never get a family no more. She be single. She don't never find no another man like you and build nothing. That's a fact. She be a straggler from there on out. Every now and then a woman will get lucky and get married, but most times when women get married to a man and it don't work, she never get married again. Most times. Cheating ain't no good because you're going to bring AIDS or some type of STD back to the family. You can even give it to the baby. She might be pregnant and you don't know she's pregnant. You go out there and get an STD. You come back and have sex with it again. You give her the STD. A week later, you find out she's pregnant. Now her and the baby got the STD. You then gave your baby STDs. Like, that's not what it is. For the man, for the black man, focus on some money, not no honey. Money. When you leave your queen, go make some money and come back home. Stop sleeping with other brothers' women, running all around the place like you in high school. You're not in high school, you're a grown man now. You understand? Much respect, brother. I appreciate the donation. You're a grown man. Act like a grown man. Bring some decency back into the black family. Bring that back. Because if you don't bring that back, then the women get distorted. And then the men, you know, if the men, what can you do when you distorted all your queens? So now all your queens are sluts. You're trying to be a king and marry her, but she slutted out already. She gonna go cheat on you. Because now the man want to sleep with somebody else's wife. Stop doing that. First off, if you married and you're a woman and you're trying to cheat on your man, what do I want with you if you ain't loyal to him? What do I want with you? When the man that loves you, he can't trust you. And then why would I want to kiss on you and have all his DNA in my mouth when his DNA is all over your body? And here I am putting his DNA on me. They think it's cool because they don't got no home training and there ain't nobody like me talking to them. It's not cool. What's cool is getting money and taking care of your family. That's what's cool. Sleeping around is not cool. Sleeping around shows low self-esteem. You can't get satisfied when you're sleeping around. If I got a woman and I'm constantly chasing women, I got a woman, that's low self-esteem I got. I'm looking for something. I'm not a complete man. I'm looking for something. And I'm gonna find I ain't gonna find what I'm looking for. I'm gonna find gonorrhea. I'm gonna find herpes. I'm going to find syphilis. That's what I'm going to find. I'm going to find HIV. That's what I'm going to find. HIV is bigger than ever. Search it. Search HIV in Georgia and in all these states. Google it. HIV is rampant. It's rampant. Remember, I said it first. In 5 years, nobody will be having sex with nobody without getting checked first. Ain't nobody gonna be wanting to have. The only reason it's not worse because they got some medicine to stop you from passing away so fast. That's the only reason. But if you know, like I know, if you keep spreading HIV, you get a hybrid version of HIV. So you're going to get a new HIV, a hybrid. You understand? You're going to get a hybrid version of HIV. That's what you're going to get. When I was in Hawaii, there was a while I was running around with all these chicks and stuff. Then I found out they had herpes out there. I said, shh. Because there's always new venereal diseases. I hope you know diseases make new diseases. If you don't carry yourself correctly, you will create an infection. That's a fact. It's not going to be long before you're going to create an infection that's going to hit you, and 30 days later, you gone. It ain't going to always be no infection that you got months, don't know you got. What you going to do when it's an infection? As soon as you do it, 2 or 3 weeks later, you start rotting down there. What you going to do when you get a rot disease down there and it smells real bad and you pass away in 30 days? What you going to do then? What you gonna do when it really get crazy? Because it's going to. Because eventually somebody gonna have herpes, right? Syphilis and HIV, and it's gonna make a syphilis, herpes, HIV. It's gonna make a high grade HIV. It's just a matter of time for you have a high grade sexually transmitted disease. Them days is over. It's time to be kings and queens and raise some decent children and bring the community back and buy these homes and live on the community. Teach our children how to play together. Teach our young men to stop gangbanging and fight. Save our young men from going to these penitentiaries, working for free. It's time to upgrade our mental. Seriously, it's time to upgrade and get on some king and queen stuff. That's what time it is. It's like like women trying to get at you, you know what I'm saying? But if you got that king mentality, you're like, babe, I just don't sleep with people like that. I'm a king. You can't just have me like that. I'm a king. I ain't no bust down. I just don't just sleep with you. And then I don't like to do nothing that I got to be uncomfortable and sneak around. I ain't comfortable having a wife, and now I got to sneak around. I got to turn my phone on. I can't lay my phone down. My girlfriend, I got to be guarding my phone because I got, you know what I'm saying? I don't like that. I don't like that kind of life. I don't want to be guarding my phone because my baby mama, she going to see Sharon calling me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got time for that. I never liked that kind of lifestyle. Any woman I have been with, I lay my phone down in the zone. I don't got to guard my phone. Ain't no woman calling this phone. I'm not getting paid sleeping with no 3 women. How much you make doing that? I ain't making no money. I need some money. I don't need no whole bunch of places to ejaculate. How much I get paid for that? Well, I don't need that. What I need with that? What I'm going to get for 2 women, 3 women? Seriously. What I'm going to get? What you get from it? Nothing. You don't get nothing. You just be wasting time, really. You just be wasting time. And it don't make you feel like you accomplished nothing either. That's a big lie. Man, you don't feel like you accomplished nothing just because you got a woman to let you sleep with them. That ain't no accomplishment. Y'all young brothers, stop letting them lie to you. You ain't going to feel nothing from that. Facts. That's a lie. You're not going to feel no type of reward from that. None. Anybody make you think you're going to feel the reward is lying. You're not going to feel nothing from that. You ain't going to get nothing from that. I'm telling you the facts. Nothing. That's not going to mean nothing in your life. I mean zero. That's not going to be nothing. Well, you could brag how many women you slept with, ain't going to mean nothing. The only thing going to bring value in your life is a long-lasting relationship and raising children that go out here and make something out yourself, out themselves. And you can't do that unless mama and daddy standing on something. I had H. pylori, but you could get H. pylori from all type of stuff. You mostly get it from dirty forks and spoons and stuff at restaurants. Or you could get it from pets. But you mostly get H. pylori from dirty forks and spoons and stuff, and then you could pass it. You understand? Because I had it. I had H. pylori. It was horrible. I had to take some strong-ass medicine. Me and my queen had to take it. I found out I had it because she went and took a test and found out she had it. But I believe she got it from me. It's not hard to treat. They're going to give you some strong-ass medicine you got to take for 7 days. It ain't hard to treat. They're going to give you that strong-ass medicine. And it's strong. It's strong. All you got to do is go get tested. When they find out you got H. pylori, they're going to give you some strong, it's not hard to treat. It's simple. Some strong-ass medicine you're going to take for 7 days. I'm talking about strong. When you take it, you're going to feel it over your whole body. So it's not hard to treat. It's so strong. And then you got to go back, and they're going to give you a stool sample kit, and you're going to put your stool in the kit, and then you're going to take your stool back, and they got to check your stool to make sure it's gone. That's the strongest medicine you ever took in your life. It's strong. And then you can't touch each other or be around each other. So you got to sleep in one room and she got to sleep in another room. You can't sleep together, none of that. You have to stay separate. You can't kiss or none of that. You got to wash your hands fanatically. I think I had it first. When I went to the doctor, they said, we can't believe you're still alive. You seem like you had this a long time. I'm like, are you kidding? I think by me being plant-based, it didn't show up. That's one bad thing about being a plant-based vegan is you can have something and not see it because the plant-based food be fighting it. So you might not even know you got nothing. But imagine if I had been sleeping with women everywhere and there's women out there would have had it, wouldn't even know they had it. Women I don't even know how to contact no more. Just spreading H. pylori all over the place. You feel me? She got rid of it naturally. You could probably get rid of it naturally. When I'm plant-based and I take natural stuff to stay healed, but when I get something like that, I take the medicine. So what I do is I'll go, if it's something that serious, I take the medicine. Then I use the plants to clean out the medicine. So I have the medicine, clean out the infection. Then I have the plants, clean out the medicine. That's how I do it. If it's something serious, I let the medicine, because I don't take medicine, but if in rare occasions, I'll take the medicine, I'll let the medicine clean out the infection. Then I'll let the ginger and garlic and onion and stuff clean out the medicine. So I treat the medicine the same way you would treat the H. pylori. Take the medicine. If you can get rid of H. pylori, you can get rid of the medicine, right? Let the medicine get rid of the H. pylori, then let the good food get rid of the medicine. That's what you do if you got something serious. Always take the medicine. Let me tell you something. On my soul. I went to the dentist one time, and he looked and he said, check this out. I swear to God. He said, you got some type of something. He gave me some medicine. I didn't pay no attention. He gave me some medicine. He said, take this medicine and come back in like 10 days. My dumb ass, I went home, threw the medicine in the garbage. Mr. Vegan, Mr. Natural. I swear to God. I took the medicine, the 5, and threw it in the garbage. I went back to the dentist. He said, did you take the medicine? I said, yeah. Lying. That's why lying ain't no good. That dentist pulled my tooth. When he pulled my tooth, 2 days later, I was at the house like this. Like I got AIDS or HIV. I had big old knots under my arm. Still, I was plant-based, so I kind of healed myself after that. I went and told the dentist. He said, fool, you could have died. He said, I told you to take the medicine because the poison was up under your tooth, and once I pulled the tooth, the poison was going to go in your system. After that, I take the doctor's advice. Because sure enough, he pulled the tooth and that poison went into, he said it could have killed you. And he ain't lying. Because I was in the bed 2 days, couldn't do nothing. And only that plant-based eating, probably the only reason I didn't die. You know what I'm saying? Not listening. So now, if it's something serious, I listen to the doctor, I take the medicine, and then I clean out the medicine because it's easier to clean out the medicine than the infection. You understand? The infection is not as strong, is stronger than the medicine. Always remember that. Clean out the infection, then clean out the medicine. The medicine cannot damage you if you put natural stuff on top of the medicine. That's what you always do. Remember that. Take the medicine, get rid of the infection, then get rid of the medicine. Hope I read your message. Let me see what you say. What you ask me? We have to get back to church. The church gave up on the black community because the black community gave up on the church, failed. Because we put the wrong passes in place. It's the thing to get back to the church. To get back to the church is a good thing, But you got to get back to righteousness without the church, because if you don't, first off, let's deal with the church. The biggest problem with the church is the church got misused. The church was never designed for righteousness. The church is supposed to be for community work. So the church is supposed to be a place where you go on Sunday to commune. So communion means community. So the church is never a place to find God. The church is a place where the community get together on some positivity. Right? That's what the church is. So like here in Chicago, if when I moved to my father's house and his gas bill was way behind, the church had the CETA program where you could go to the churches in the day, sign up for CETA, bring all my father's bills. They went and got his light bills paid. So the church is supposed to be for like community, right? Which was considered godly. But they turned the church, and still it is like if you go to Chicago and you drive around in a day, you're going to see people with baskets, empty baskets lined up outside the church where they give away food. They have food programs. They expunge cases. I got my case expunged by going to the church. The church plugged me up with a place downtown. That's really what the church is for. It's for community gathering. It's a place where the community gather in the name of God. It's really not a place to worship God. It's a place to get together on some righteousness, and righteousness is basically community work, helping the homeless, stuff like that. That's what the church is for. The church ain't to sit up there and say, First Peter say this, Second Peter say that, and the Lord say, that's not what the church is for. So we don't have to get back to church. The church got to get back to the community to be about community and stop all that hooping and hollering and preaching about some old ass stuff in the Bible. Nobody cares. Why is you reading stuff in the Bible when stuff in the Bible was for people back in the days of the Bible? Everything Christ said was back for then. What are you saying now? So this is why they got mad at Christ, because Christ he didn't like the church. Remember, Christ went to church twice. The first time Christ went to church, they was laughing at a lady because she only had a penny. She didn't have no money to give them. The second time Christ went to church, they was in there selling pigeons in the basement and gambling. And what did church Christ do? Christ what? Took a whip and ran everybody out to church and said not one stone should stand on the other. Christ came to town 3 times. The first time he went to the church, they was laughing at the lady because she didn't have that much money. The second time he chased everybody out to church. The third time they crucified him. Look it up. The third time Christ came to town, they murdered him. Because the church was never supposed to be a religious situation. Religion is negative because now everybody got to believe the same thing. The church is just supposed to be for communion, for the people to get together and do work. So they call it church the house of the Lord. So let's say you're in Chicago and you got 1,500 churches. That's the house of the Lord. Does it make sense to have a house of the Lord with homeless people? Should the Lord have 1,500 houses with homeless people? Make some sense. The Lord don't need no house. People need a house to live. So how the Lord got all these houses? but it's only one Lord. But he got 1,000,000 houses across America, 1,000,000 buildings of the house of the Lord, and homeless people on the street. Ain't no homeless people. You don't let no homeless people sleep in there. You're not feeding nobody in there. You're saying it's God's house. God don't need no house. So they defiled the church. Because remember, it was the church that crucified Christ. It was the Pharisees and Sadducees that sent the Romans after. That's why it's said the nearer the church, the further from God. Because that's where Lucifer be at the church, at the synagogue, and at the mosque. So we have to turn the church back into communion. You know what I'm saying? We have to turn the church back into community, which most churches are. Most churches still do deal with community. Like I say, here in Chicago, they give out a lot of food. They help people keep their gas on. They do a lot of community work. Some churches raise money and got schools. Like I went to a Lutheran church, and the money they gave, they had their little school. You know what I'm saying? The Catholic churches used to have a school. This is what the church is supposed to be really doing. You understand? This is what the church did. So we do not need to bring that communion back at the church. But you got to understand, Christ didn't have no religion. And the Christian church is teaching a foul religion. The Christianity is a lie. Ain't no God that say thou shalt not kill gonna send his son to be killed. That don't even make no sense. God say thou shalt not kill, and you say God sent his son to die for your sins. That don't even make no sense. What kind of God gonna send his son for you to kill him? You feel me? What kind of God gonna send his son for you to kill? You gotta understand that when the Romans unalived Christ, the Romans went and made that up. So if I unalive you, I'm gonna go say what? God sent you for me to unalive you. So the Roman Catholic Church said that God sent Christ for them to unalive him so you could be saved. It's the murderers that said Christ was sent to be murdered. They made that up. The Roman Catholic Church made that up. They unalived Peter. They crucified him upside down on the cross. That's why you see the cross with the question mark. If you ever see the cross with the question mark that the satanic people wear, that means who got crucified upside down. You're going to see a upside down question mark on the cross. That's Peter. Then when they crucified Peter, they went and built a church, and they put a statue of Jupiter, and they said that Jupiter's Peter. So when you go to St. Peter's Cathedral, that's not Christ, that's Jupiter. And then they said God sent his son for them to unalive him so you could be saved. They made that up. Christ never said none of that. Christ never said nobody sent him to be murdered. That was made up after the murder. How God gonna say thou shalt not kill, but then send his son to be killed? Duh. So until the church find out the reality, what they teaching, that's why the church is suffering, because they teaching the teachings of the same people that unalive Christ. Islam too is defiled. Islam is defiled. Christianity is defiled. Buddhism is defiled. Brahmanism, all the religions are defiled. None of those religions. Now Rasta is defiled. Rasta wasn't never no religion. Rasta was a way of life. All of those was ways of life. They turned them into religions. All religions are satanic, basically. So if we bring the church back for community work, yeah, but if we bring the church back with religious ideology, that's going to be a fail. Because that's not what the church was for. And the Council of Nicaea, they never, nothing that they say of the church is in the Bible. They didn't put nothing foul in the Bible. Nothing at the church is in the Bible. Nothing that they teach at church is in the Bible. Nothing. Nothing in the church that they teach is in the Bible. The church do not teach the Bible. I went to a religious school, so I took religion as a class. I'm a religion professor. That's not, they're teaching a dogma. A dogma is what they make up. So Christians are teaching a dogma. They're not teaching the Bible. They're teaching what St. Thomas Aquinas made up. He started the Catholic Church. Martin Luther, he started the Lutheran Church. John, I forgot his name, started the Baptist Church. They're teaching their dogma. They're not teaching the Bible. If they were teaching the Bible, they wouldn't be Lutherans. They wouldn't be Catholics. They wouldn't be Baptists. They wouldn't be Methodists. They would just be people teaching the Bible. What's the difference between a Catholic and a Lutheran? The dogma. They teach dogma. They don't teach the Bible. They don't teach the Bible. They teach dogma. Look up dogma. No church teach the Bible. They teach the dogma of that particular religious sect. Look it up. Watch. On my soul. Hold on. Watch this. I'll show you. The Baptist Church. The Baptist Church was started by him. They don't teach the Bible. This is John Smith. They teach what he teaching. They're not teaching the Bible. The Lutheran Church is teaching what he taught. And he believed when he was using the toilet, demons was going up his butt. This is Martin Luther, started the Lutheran Church. The Catholic Church is teaching what St. Augustine was teaching, another nut. These is all lunatics. The Baptist church founder, the Lutheran church founder, and the Catholic church founder was all nuts. That's what they teach when you go to church. They do not teach the Bible. They teach dogma. Okay? They teach dogma. That's what they teach. They do not teach the Bible. These are facts. These are the people. These are the lunatics they follow. And they was crazy. This man said, if your wife don't want to lay with you, you could grape her. And then when you grape her and the police come, tell her a robber broke in and did it. This is the founder of the Lutheran Church. He said, if your wife is not giving you what you want, grape her and blame it on a criminal. That's what he said. That's what he said. So look, that's all on that. Will you add something? So the religion and dogma is what's made up, not the Bible. Yeah, the dogma is what those three men made up. They don't teach the Bible. Because the Bible is not really, the Bible is not really a book. The Bible is a collection of books. So the Bible ain't got no teachers in it. Because Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and that is just, every book in the Bible is its own thing. And none of them is the same. The book of Numbers just tell numbers. What you going to learn from Numbers? He lived this many years and he was born. So the Bible ain't got no teaching in there. The Bible got a lot of different things in there. Right? The Bible got a lot of things in there. The Bible don't have no teaching stuff in there. All that stuff ain't teachable. Some of it is history. Like the teaching stuff is like Proverbs. Proverbs is like teaching. Other than that, Daniel was just telling you what was going on with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel. That's all that's telling you. So like the Bible is not no cohesive book. The Bible is a collection of books. Right? Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is the same story told 4 times. Matthew tell the story about Christ. Then Mark tell the same story. Then Luke tell the same story. Then John tell the same story. So the New Testament with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is 4 people telling the same story to authenticate the story. That's it. There's nothing to learn there. That's a fact. That's why you should read it for yourself. And you'll see it's basically a bunch of history and then some lessons. There's some lessons, but it's mostly history. Mostly a history book. It's mostly a history book. There's some lessons in there. But it's not really a religious book. What's religious about Israel's son throwing Joseph in a hole and he ended up in Egypt? That's not what you can learn from that. And then they went in, and then he noticed them and said, go get your daddy. He went and got daddy, found out that was Joseph, and then they moved to Egypt because it was a famine. What you gonna learn from that? If you read Genesis, that's Moses telling something he didn't see. The first 5 books of the Bible written by Moses, right? Was Moses here with Adam and Eve? No. So if Moses is telling you about Adam and Eve, that's Moses telling you an old story, right? Moses wasn't there. So Moses is the one tell you in the beginning, right? 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 If you read Abraham, if you read Genesis, Exodus, that's Moses telling you in the beginning. Right? Yeah, I'm not going to talk to him because I don't, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's real simple. People, religion, there's really no such thing as religion. You either believe it's a God, you live righteous. Religion is simple. Do unto others as you had them do to you. Religion is simple. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife or oxen. That's it. The Ten Commandments. That's all you need to know. What else do you need to know? What else you need to know other than thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery? What else do you need to know? All your laws in the world is based off the Ten Commandments. If you kill somebody now, don't you get a murder case? If you steal, don't you go to jail? That's the Ten Commandments. That's it. What else you need to know? If you ain't doing nothing to nobody, what you need to do religiously? If I'm not killing from you, if I'm not harming you, what do I need to pray to God for? What's going on, Trey? What I need to pray to God for if I'm not killing you? You don't got to do all that. What I got to do all that for? The only difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament is Christ let you know that if you change your ways and repent, you ain't got to necessarily be damned for life. That's it. That's the only difference. The beginning, it was like, don't sin, you in trouble. Then Christ said, no, you ain't in long-term trouble. You can repent and change your ways, and that's it. No, you don't be one with nothing. You just leave people alone. You don't got to be one with God. God is not interested in you. That's all a lie. That's all nonsense. There's nowhere it say you got to do nothing with God. Everything say leave people alone. That's the basics of religion. Don't harm people. That's it. Just like if you're a father and you got 3 children, what's the basics? You don't want them what? Fighting each other. They not going to fight you because you're daddy. So what do you want your children to do? Get along, right? You don't want one child to kill the other one. You don't want one child to steal. That's it. All that other stuff is nonsense. Follow the 10 Commandments and that's it. And if you make a mistake, change your ways and repent. That's it. That's it. That's it. All that other stuff is nonsense. Total. Straight nonsense. It's it. If I ain't killed nobody or stole from nobody or bear false witness to nobody and sent them to prison, what I'm asking for forgiveness for? I ain't done nothing. Forgiveness for what? What have I done since last week that I need forgiveness? I ain't done nothing. I just been at home watching TV and doing what I do. What sin? Why is you constantly asking for forgiveness and you ain't did nothing? That makes sense? Do that make sense that you constantly asking for forgiveness, but you ain't did nothing? You ain't broke none of the 10 Commandments. What you asking? What? Forgiveness for what? That's all nonsense. That's nonsense. Straight up. That's all fake. That's fake. And most fanatical religious people are the worst ones. They the ones that stab you in the back. The nearer the church, the further from God. Church is where Lucifer hang out at. Look, when Christ was fasting 40 days and 40 nights, who came? Lucifer. And what did Lucifer do? Lucifer quoted the book of Psalms. Look it up. Lucifer quoted the Bible to Christ. Look it up. So just because they quote the Bible, what that mean? Lucifer quoted the Bible to Christ and said, it say that if you throw yourself off this cliff, the angels will catch you. That he got out the Bible. And Christ said, also say, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. Look it up. Always remember, when you're talking to holy fanaticals, always remember one thing about religious fanaticals. Lucifer used to live in heaven. So Lucifer knows God. So just because you know God, what that mean? Lucifer got cast down out of heaven, right? So Lucifer knows God, right? So knowing God don't make you righteous. Lucifer is an angel, is a fallen angel. Lucifer knows God personally. So just because somebody know God, what that mean? Nothing. No, hardly nobody knows God better than Lucifer. I'm just saying, don't listen to no religious fanatics. Look it up for yourself. Look it up. Your job is to treat people nice. If I want to be righteous, all I got to do is not steal from y'all, not hurt y'all, not lie to y'all, not steal from y'all, not sleep with your wife. That's it. That's it. That's all I got to do. As long as I don't do none of y'all, I'm straight. That's it. Read the 10 Commandments. It's real simple. Leave people alone. You want to be righteous? I could put the whole 10 Commandments in a few words. Leave people alone. That's it. There go religion for you right there. Leave people alone. Anybody tell you anything other than that is lying. Victory.